This is such a huge, obviously, moment in my life. And it's a story I've definitely told before, but I feel like it wasn't, I don't know, I feel like I could tell it multiple times in a way that really gets out to more people, as I think a lot of people could take something from it when it comes to just never really giving up. If you have a dream, and with YouTube, I had done it full time for a while out of college. My thought being, well, I'm not going to try this when, I'm in my 30s, I've settled down, I have a family, I have to provide for my family, a stable job. Now let's try the dream. Let's try the dream now. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't want to have regrets. So, I was getting by, but I was making as much money as my, then girlfriend was making off of her school loans and med school. And we were both going for a dream. So it worked out, but it wasn't really doing super well. And I hit a point where once I turn 26, I'll be off my parents' health insurance in the state I lived in. So I need to make it work by then, or I need to just move on. So around the time I was turning 25, just kind of looked at everything I had done. And speaking of competitive, I had decided to go into Sword and Shield. Like, I'm just going to put all my eggs in the competitive basket. And Pokemon's like, well, what if you did 3-on-3 singles? We're going to get rid of that 60-minute timer. Try to do a game in 20 minutes. So like, well, I can't. Unshockingly, we saw VGC get more and more popular on YouTube after that. I applaud them for that, but that was kind of devastating for me. I'd really hit a stride. I was making a lot of competitive guides for Pokemon. I remember doing a phalanx guide that really blew up, but my wings were clipped. Like, okay, well, I'm not I was trying to relearn singles here. I can't just jump into, doubles, and doubles isn't really popular on YouTube. I need to make this work if I want to make it work. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make a new channel. I'm going to just try one more time. I made a channel. I made, I don't know, $200, $300 a month the next 2 months, because I wasn't uploading. I was just researching day after day. Okay, YouTube is now school. How do people do this? A lot of people at this point, we've transported so far in the past. It's 2020. Before everything kind of went crazy, and, there's a lot of big YouTubers. I'm like, okay, what does this person do? What does this person do? And I stumbled upon this big podcast Ludwig had done with, I don't remember who, some Twitch guru at the time, and he just talked about YouTube stuff for 3-4 hours, and my mind was kind of blown of wow, okay, so that's this is how you market an idea with a title and a thumbnail. And I was just note after note after note, and I'd had all these good ideas. I felt like I had a pretty solid presence on camera. People enjoyed my stuff, but I wasn't getting any of these creative ideas to go viral. I just didn't know how to package them and get a casual audience to understand what was going on. So made this new channel, learned everything I could about YouTube. I got it partnered, and then I slowly but surely started making these new videos. And I remember at the time I had seen Small Ant come up with these Pokemon videos that were just going crazy viral. And I was looking around, and every big Pokemon YouTuber at the time, I'll say zero names, hey, we all have our own opinions. We're Pokemon's dead. We can't get any views. We can't make videos on this. It's this and that, Sword and Shield stinks, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, this dude's getting 4 million views on a Pokemon video. He's not even a Pokemon creator. Do we have any pride as a community? And I wasn't upset in the slightest with Small Ant. I just felt well, if he can do this, and I feel I have creative ideas, I feel maybe I don't need to get 1 million views. Maybe I get 50,000 views. That would be crazy good. How can I get a little bit of this? And I tried a few different ideas, and eventually it just started clicking, and it was just the snowball effect. And it really just started. I'd done YouTube for 10 plus years. I had this year window, and I decided I'm going to now it's turned into a job. I want this to be a job. Let me treat this like a job. Treat this like something I want to get good at. Let me learn how this camera thing works, the lighting, the microphone, every part of the job. In the same way I'd study for a test. School is always important to me. The goal is to get A's. You got to put a lot of work in as everything gets more and more difficult. You don't just show up I don't know, I hope this works. That's not going to work. It's never going to work. And it was really beautiful and really magical for that to happen at that point, especially with kind of where my life was at, of my girlfriend, and pretty soon after fiance was in med school, and we had moved a state away. So we were further away from family. I was working crazy hours trying to make YouTube work. Med school is very tough. So we're not seeing people as much. I'm not saying in as good a contact with friends and online friends. I mean, we went from the 3DS scene to the Switch scene. A lot of people had kind of moved on. There's a lot of people that had just moved past Pokemon. They weren't really PokeTubing as much. There was kind of a changing of the old guard. So, I'm meeting new people, but like there's a lot of these relationships that are falling away, and I was getting more and more isolated, and then COVID happened, and I couldn't have been more isolated. And this is really, unfortunate set of circumstances that turned into like this passion and this fire under me to keep working, and everything just really exploded. And while it hasn't been what it used to be, where my older, Pokemon career was just really built around friendships and relationships, being so deep within the community at that time, I almost felt like I was pushing against the community saying, hey, Pokemon, we can't do anything. We can't make these viral videos. Pokemon just doesn't have a lot to give. And I said, I don't believe that. My parents do not think it can do this. My friends don't. No one really believes, even Pokemon YouTubers do not believe these videos can do super well. I think they can. And it really took off. And, the final thing I'll say on this before I talk a lot, I apologize, because I know it's the point of this. But, I think a lot of people ask, how do you become friends with M&J TV, this, that, and the other? Well, it was Draft League years and years back. And he always had like 1 million subscribers. I always had whatever I had. We were just really good friends. It wasn't a YouTube thing. It was just like really close friends. I remember, like, hey, Mikey, I have these 2 video ideas. You got to trust me. I'm going to throw you my better idea. This idea of like, I realized no one had done a catching competition on YouTube. Like, Pokemon got to catch them all, man. What are we doing here? The safari, like the bug catching contest, the Safari Zone, it's built into the games. I'm like, Mikey, 5 minutes to catch a random Pokemon. If you do it, you move on. If you can't do it, you lose a point. You open up the game. You don't have to set anything up. There's nothing nefarious going on. We're just going to go on there. I'm going to do like, let's spin a wheel. Go get a Zubat, Mikey. You got 5 minutes. And, that video really, it helped things take off. And it was just this nice rediscovery of like, wow, how can I just have fun with Pokemon with friends and kind of show that with people? Like, there's so much to Pokemon. You think there's not a lot to do when the game's over? That's not true. Here's a fun game. Go play it with a friend. This is great. Like, let's play along with us. You could see if you do better than us when we fail. And it's just, I think it really helped me rediscover a lot of this just kind of more casual fun with Pokemon after so many years of competitive and really being disappointed with the timer.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. I mean, it goes back to something we said before about how important it is to be there with something from the beginning to then pave the way for later success. But I mean, the fact that you had that belief in what Pokemon had to offer and you kept flying that flag.
I think a big thing here is a huge risk of no one's ever done this idea before. I'm either a fool because no one's done it before and I think it will work, or I am the first person to really believe in this, which is, it's very daunting. You have to really be confident within an idea to be like, okay, let's do something no one else is doing. And I think it's going to do super well. That's just, I think there a lot of times people have those ideas before I may have them, but they don't do it just because that's scary. It's so much easier to do something that is a known quantity. It is much riskier to just go out there, but I had nothing to lose. I was swinging for the fences.
Yeah. I mean, it's wonderful that it, you gave yourself that year and then it played out the way that it did. How did it feel when you saw those views, you saw those videos starting to take off, and you had that belief, but you just didn't know which way it would go? To see that was validated, how did that feel?
It's really, really hard to explain that. I think I'm pretty similar to the guy I was when I started in terms of like how the numbers or like the fame has affected me. I'm painfully self-critical. Like I am not going to get really high or low off of a lot of things that I see online because there's a very negative voice inside that's like, you're like, okay, you got a viral video, like, good job, that's the goal. Oh, it didn't do as well, like, come on, like, everything's bad, rework this, fix this, that, and the other. So I think for me, I had a hard time after I hit 10,000 subscribers a long time back. That was like my stretch goal. I thought 1,000 was my goal when I first started. 10,000 was a super stretch goal. Never thought that was possible. You get anywhere past that, it's like, I don't know what these numbers, like, what am I supposed to, like, I never really thought that was real. But, gosh, I have so many thoughts and memories. I'm trying to put them together. I think I finally have it. I kind of had this, like, really, like, I was clinging on to this thing of, I need to get 100K before this is over. I need to get this physical plaque. And even if no one else believes in this, if no one else really takes this seriously, I have this physical thing where I can show that I did this. This is real. You know, I had like, there were a lot of tough moments and memories. And I think there were some people who kind of used what I was doing to almost feel better about themselves in my life. You know, my family was very big on academia. Like, my wife is a doctor. I have an uncle that's a doctor. I have a cousin that's becoming a doctor. I have an aunt that was a professor, then became a lawyer. I'm like, well, what is happening? So there was a lot of people that really, you know, I could go on with a lot of stories. A lot of people that really didn't understand. And it's like, what are you doing? You're wasting all this time. I needed that plaque. But when I hit 100K, I recognized, it actually kind of messed me up for a while, of like kind of existential, like, oh my God, this is not the top of the mountain. I could hit 1 million. Like, these videos are going more viral than I ever imagined. That things I never thought were remotely possible for me are here. This is the beginning. I thought this was the, like, I just got to get this real thing. Okay, maybe we move on. Like, hey guys, I didn't waste my time. But it was more than I ever bargained for in the best way. I never, ever, ever believed in myself that could happen. But I also was so confident in my ideas and that I could do it. And they clash in a really big way. I never thought I'd hit 100K. 1 million was not a dream. It was not a reality. I didn't think Pokemon creators really could hit 1 million, even though one of my best friends in the world at the time still had 1 million. Just, that's not something that could happen to me. But I believe so strongly in these. So it was kind of like, is this a dream? How did this happen? What's going on? I still kind of feel that way, but it's this, there's just such a strong confidence and belief. Like, I want to do this. I feel like I need to do this. And it's, I don't know. I focus more on that than the, like, this is real. I'll be honest. I need to get to a big Pokemon event at some point. I've never gone to a big event since my channel blew up, and I have a hard time really comprehending, like, no one's really gonna care that I'm there. But I know in the back of my mind, like, I'm pretty sure, like, most people know who I am. Like, that's kind of, they're at a Pokemon event, like, watching, like, half these people are here because they've watched Wolfie. Like, they know YouTubers. Like, and I've just never really had that moment. I'm very to myself. You know, I'm very, like, I don't like talking about YouTube and the numbers, and I'm just, you know, I hang out with, like, my old, like, hometown friends, often family. So it's really two different worlds and two different kind of mindsets. That was a longer answer than you were probably expecting, but there's just so much with this I can unpack. Yeah. So I'm done for now.
That's wonderful. No, it's so insightful getting that from you. And I think, you know, people, the guests I have on the show sometimes just underestimate just how interesting the bare facts are, and the fact that you run with them to such an extent and sort of go down avenues I'm not sure you're expecting that you will go down is fascinating for us to hear. So thank you so much for your openness and your honesty. Yeah. But now it's time to discover what's going to be Pokemon number 5 on your dream team.